What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I've got a subreddit for you that I've not looked at in a very long time, but it's one of my favorites, so I'm not really sure why that is. It's r/IDOWorkHereLady. Just because I'm young doesn't mean I can't be the boss. I worked at a very popular nightclub. Multi-level, younger crowd downstairs, big spenders upstairs. We're talking $70,000 a night on our biggest nights, and averaging around 30k on normal nights. Oh my god. We used to get tons of applications as the staff made great tips. I started at the bar as a bouncer for a summer job when I was 19, and I ended up liking it and being good at it. Anyway, fast forward a couple of years and I'm 22 years old and have been made the general manager of the bath with staff of up to 50 people. We opened during the week for deck drinkers, and I would usually be dressed to impress on some of the days, as I wasn't in the office all the time, or I'd be doing work around the bar, minor fixes, painting and such. Anyway, I came down and let the staff in so they could get to work, and before we open, a girl knocks on the door. You know the type, looking down her nose at everyone with a holier-than-thou attitude. I open the door for her and ask how I can help her. She takes one look at me in my boots, work jeans and t-shirt and walks right past me without so much as a how do you do, to tell the bartender she's looking for the manager so she can pass in a resume. I had the distinct pleasure of watching her face go red as I tell her I'm the manager and tossing her resume immediately without looking at it. A lot of the customers we have that spend the big money look like nobodies. And there you go, guys. If you didn't know what this subreddit was about before this post, you probably get the gist of it now. Pretty much these stories are all about entitled people who think that a member of staff isn't actually a member of staff, acts horribly towards them, or in this case, just flat out ignore them, then in reality it turns out that that person is actually the boss of the place, or maybe even the owner. In this case, yeah, OP, I totally agree with what you did, just chucking her resume out straight away. If this person acts differently around people that she thinks are rich and those who she doesn't think are rich, that's not really the sort of person you want in a bar, in my opinion. Moving on to our next story. Yes, just because I'm androgynous doesn't mean I can't have a job. In short, I have a rare genetic problem that causes me to be biologically two people and biologically two different sexes. In utero, I had a fraternal twin that merged with me. I have two different sets of genetic material. I externally look pretty androgynous. I have biological traits, including reproductive organs, of both sexes. And I intentionally dress androgynously. Also, I am a dispensing optician. I work in a shop that's open 24/7, and on this night, I was the only dispensing optician. This means even though there were others working, I'm the only one who can do work on certain types of prescriptions or any prescription for a kid. It's like 3 in the morning. Some older guy comes in with a really young kid. I'm assuming his grandkid. She was pretty severely impaired visually and had snapped the frame of her glasses. We can have glasses made by the morning, hand her script over to the lab, and we could have had it done by noon. We had to measure her face so we could have her frames fit her. I'm explaining the procedure to the kid. I explain it as having them look through special binoculars that measure their face. But as I'm doing this, the granddad screams from across the room, "Hey, why are you touching her?" I explain that I'm the dispensing optician and I'm the only one licensed to collect measurements for the kid. He refused to believe that the store would let a transsexual work for them, and it took probably 4 people trying to convince him that I do actually work there. After that finally was made clear, he still demanded someone else do it. Nope, no can do. He then wanted to speak to the supervisor. The funny thing about that was that I was the supervisor for the night. A trick I've learned is just to refer to another employee who can pretend to be the supervisor. After a lot of argument and profanities, he lets me get my measurements. I've learned to be sarcastically over-pleasant with angry people, so as he was leaving the store, I said, "Have a great day, sir." His response, "F you, tranny." Oh, this is a bit of a horrible story. OP, I'm really sorry that you have to, deal with people like this just because of how you were born. That's kind of horrible. Yeah, to be honest, I don't really understand the logic of, oh, this person is a transsexual, therefore she can't help my kid get glasses, someone else has to do it. How does being a transsexual affect your ability to help this visually impaired person, be able to see, get new glasses, whatever? I just don't get it, guys. If you know, leave a comment. But you know what? I'm not too sure any of us are agreeing with this old man right here. Moving on to our third story now. Employees don't know who I am. For some context, for the last 7 to 8 years, I've worked at a paintball park and known a decent amount about paintball overall. Well, the last 4 years, I've only worked at the park during the summers since I'm gone the other 8 to 9 months for college. The turnover rate is pretty high, so there's always new employees. This happened roughly 2 years ago during my first weekend back at the park. I just got back into town 3 days earlier, and my friend who was the manager needed some extra help, so he calls me in. I didn't realize they had new work shirts, so I show up in a hoodie with the paintball park's name on it, so I'm at least wearing something that has the name on it. The manager takes me to a couple other managers and introduces me to them, saying, when I'm not here, he's basically me for the day and should be able to answer any questions you would have for me. With that being said, I'm now an unofficial manager. A majority of the employees don't know who I am, which is normal, this always happens. However, there were around 5 to 8 of them who were on some power trip and were trying to stiff arm me because they worked there for 8 months. 2 of them were managers. In my eyes though, they weren't managers because they were in charge of a small area, the equipment area where customers can rent out gear, but they pretty much had no authority over anyone. I'm working, doing my thing, and I had one of these guys come up to me and try to give me a trash job, which I already knew wasn't going to fly. It sounds pretentious, but I'm the only person who can handle big groups because I've done them all the time, so he kicks me off a group to go do trash. I said whatever and started doing trash. The assistant manager, who I trained years ago, and the manager both asked me what I'm doing. I told them what happened and they both got upset that someone felt compelled to do that. An hour later, someone else was trying to tell me how to fix guns. I told him I don't need help, but thanks anyway, and he still kept trying to tell me what I'm doing wrong. I told him, no, this is how you do it. The equipment manager came over and asked what I'm doing. I told her a gun was broken and I'm fixing it. She told me to take it to the main manager because he handles all the fixes. I told her I already talked to him and he said it's fine. She then radios him in front of me, staring at me, and asks him, hey, OP is trying to fix this gun. Did you give him the thumbs up? He said yes, so she just hovers over my shoulder to see if I mess up or not. At this point, I'm getting annoyed because everyone is trying to tell me how to do my job or what I'm doing is wrong. So I grab the 7 or 8 of the employees trying to stiff arm me and pull them into the main building. I go to the assistant manager and asked him, who trained you? He pointed to me. I asked the main manager, how long have I been working here? And he said, I don't know, about 7 to 8 years. I looked at the 7 to 8 employees, all their eyes are wide open. I said, look, we got off on the wrong foot. You don't know me and I don't know you. That's okay. We will get to know each other, but please don't boss me around when you don't need to. You've been here less than a year. The main manager said he was sorry that happened. I said it's all good, and he said to just float the park and help out wherever anyone needs some help. Basically, do whatever you want the rest of the day. I don't know with this one. I feel like this whole situation should have been handled way easier. It's quite a simple situation, you know. The manager is bringing someone back that has worked there before, but I don't think the message has been put across to the other employees that, you know, this guy isn't new, he's actually worked here for 7 or 8 years. Surely if the manager or even the assistant manager had just said to everyone, look, this guy isn't actually new, he may seem new to you because you've only been here a year, but he's actually been working here for a long time, that would have made that transition way smoother. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but that would have been what I would have done in that situation. I do think though that it's a bad situation for you, OP. I mean, you weren't treated well anyway, even if you were a new person at a new paintball park. Still, I think the jobs you were getting weren't great. But still, yeah, I don't think the blame lies with you or necessarily the other employees who are new there. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Now for our final story. You don't work here. I'm legit sitting behind a desk. Enjoy. So, my fiance has been wanting to open his own garage for a long time, and he recently did before COVID. He hired me to be a receptionist, so I accepted. We all have ID badges to know who works there and who doesn't. I wear mine on a lanyard, the mechanics pin theirs to their overalls so it's not in the way. We also all know each other personally. It was a normal day. Me and my fiance opened up and I started getting paperwork out and counting the money from the day before and keeping it in our safe. In comes this guy. Hello sir, welcome to the garage. How may I help you? Can you get me someone that actually works here and not an 11-year-old? Sir, I do work here and I'm 22. You're not. I know the owner. I'll have you banned from here. Okay, well, I'll go get him then, and you can. I left to go get my fiance and came back. Oh my god, Jeremy, not even close to his name. This child says she works for you and is going to steal your money. My fiance replies, sir, I don't know you. My name isn't Jeremy. She's 22 and owns half the garage. Why would she own half the garage? She's just a receptionist. She doesn't know anything. She's my fiance and she takes care of all the financial stuff. So I'm suggesting we're going to lose money from banning you from using our garage again. Write it down, babe. I wrote it down that he was banned. I honestly thought it was the most hilarious moment in my life and I still laugh about it. Oh, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall in that moment, that inevitable moment when the guy had a fish mouth after hearing the manager, the owner of the garage, say, actually, this is my 22-year-old fiance who half owns this with me, not an 11-year-old kid. Yes, she does actually work here and her job is really important. That would have been an awesome moment. The thing that I actually can't believe in this story is that the guy actually went and made up a name for the owner. I mean, what is with that? What are the chances you actually guess it right? To be fair, if his name actually was Jeremy, that would have been a crazy coincidence and would have made for an insane story. But yeah, I'm not sure about the logic there on the whole. Anyway guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/IDOWorkHereLady. As I said in the intro, I haven't done it for a long time. If you do want more, leave a like, comment down below that you do want to see more of this subreddit, and if you want more immediately, well, I've got a playlist up on the screen. With that all being said, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on as we get closer and closer to 500,000 subscribers, and I will see you all tomorrow for a brand new upload.